Well, good morning. Welcome to my shop. My name is Tony, and today we have this lovely Spalted Oak once-turn bowl blank from STM Woodturning out in Georgia. Stuart sent this along for us to take a look at and give it a quick turn. It dried pretty round, and it's got some lovely spalting in it. If you take a look there, you'll see some just neat stuff. Got my little microphone here, sorry. You can see all that cool spalting in there. Stayed pretty round. So I'm feeling like it's got a cool little hole in it, so it'll make it for an interesting looking piece. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and flatten the rim off, stick it in the one-way big jaws, go on the inside here, put a little step in it so we can open the jaws into it so we can finish the back side, and then we'll flip it back around and put a nice finish on it. I think this might look really nice with some just some standard wax. It's got kind of a rough feel. I don't know how it's going to stand out. I've never had a chance to turn this before. So stick with me. Let's see what we end up with this beautiful blank sent in by STM Woodturning in Georgia. We'll start out by just spinning it up and seeing how true it is. Oh, it's got a wobble. It's not quite a weeble, but it's got a wobble. So we'll turn it up to about 1,000 RPM here. I'll grab a 5/8 inch bowl gouge, and we're just going to flatten the rim off first so it sits nice and easy in the chuck. You can smell the mold, but oh, that's pretty. Oh, it cuts beautifully, nice and flat. That looks lovely. I'm going to go ahead and grab a box scraper here. This is a crown flat one. It's got a nice little edge on it, and we're just going to come in a little angle and just put a little recess right down there so we can expand our jaws into it. Okay. Handle slightly elevated. Should be about all we need. It's curved the wrong direction, so I'll go ahead and grab the little pointy gouge here and just put a dovetail on that. I think that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and flatten that bottom off a little more so we have plenty of flat space for our jaws. So our jaws should sit nice and flat in that space there, and we can flip it around. I'll go ahead and grab the jaws first. Just see if we're going to get a good grab. Oh, it's too big for that. It's too big. It's too big. It won't fit in the hole. It won't fit in the hole. So we can round the outside and get the bigger jaws and get the one-ways out. So I have a big set of one-ways here that would actually fit around the whole thing outside here if we want to open it up and grab it that way to get the bottom done. I don't want to use these serrations though, that would create a problem on the inside. And I think that they're too big to expand for the inside there. So I might just have to flip this around traditionally. I'll go ahead and flatten this bottom off just a little bit. So when we put well, I won't flatten it. I'll go ahead and finish this bottom. Yeah, now I'm just shaking my head. What's the best way? I haven't done it on such a small bowl before in a twice turn. Guess we could just flip it around, put it on a jam chuck, finish the outside, and then flip it around like a traditional way. I was hoping to skip that step, but sometimes you don't get to skip the steps. So let me grab a jam chuck, move to the larger jaws. Well, we need the small jaws anyway, so I use a smaller jam chuck. We'll flip it around, do the outside of the bowl, then the inside of the bowl. At least we have a nice flat stop to start with, and we know how it's going to cut, so it wasn't all wasted. So I have just a little off cut with a tenon size to fit here that I use for jam chucks. Again, it has a little hollow in the middle here, so I try to get most of my contact on the outside edge instead of having it domed or super flat. No sharp edges or anything like that. So we'll stick that in there and put that chuck key out of the way and have our tool rest out of the way, our banjo, and I will slide up our tailstock here. We have a nice dot in the middle, so we assume that should be pretty close. It's got a, let's see how that spins up here. A little wobbly, but I think that'll do the trick. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 5/8 inch bowl gouge to get this outside. It doesn't look like it's too far out of round, so it should be a pretty simple turn here. Again, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, 55-degree bevel. I'm just going to come in real gentle cuts here. see if that's, boy, it's just sawdust. Oh, look how pretty that is. Cuts lovely. Well, I wouldn't even need to really do much sand in there. This is a beautiful, looks, it's got some kind of that lace spaghetti-ish looking stuff in there. And we're just starting to come out of the rounder, so we're gonna have to take a little bit more meat off the outside, but boy, it cuts like glass. Wow, what a nice cut. I'm a little surprised. I have never had a chance to turn something like this before. So come in a little bit shallow, just ride the bevel, touch the edge. I'm going to go ahead and clean this off up here real quick. Come back the other way so we don't get any tear out on the rim. And then just a little shear cut right along where that tool line is, where I had to stop, start, and stop. It's crazy. It smells like a pipe tobacco, actually. It's got a lovely odor. Once you got past that first kind of little moldy smell, it went straight to this beautiful pipe tobacco, rich oak notes. You don't think about it often, but some of the fun of turning, there's an olfactory component to it as well, right? And it is just coming off in little sawdust flakes at this point. And it's a very sharp gouge, so look at that. That almost isn't going to need any kind of sanding. I'll probably still throw some sand on to see if it gets any prettier, but boy, that just cuts lovely. All sorts of interesting grain and stuff in there. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to round the bottom just a teeny bit. Not a big fan of a super flat bottom, and I think we have enough meat there to do it. And let's true up the tenon. Can't take too much meat off because it's pretty small already. Just listening to the wood, you can hear when it's nice and flat. Yeah, it cuts lovely. This one, it says, was cut down on April 7th of 2024. At least that's when it was turned the first time. And believe it or not, that is already ready for sanding. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll leave the camera on and we'll get a quick sand on this. I'm going to start at 120 and go up to 400 just to see how the wood reacts. And I will have the dust collector on because it is very dusty. So I'll bring him over here. Come on, Mr. Dust Collector. There we go. And I will get it going. I'm going to sand in reverse at 400 RPM, and I will be using 3-inch Abernet discs. For those of you inclined to know what I'm sanding with, I use the Abernet. It seems to last longer. It seems to be a better value. I use it all the way up to 320, and then I switch over to Duragold usually for my 400. It seems to last a little longer than their 400 and provides slightly different finish, one that I like a little better. Let's get that dust collector on. That sure looks good. Yeah, I'm already getting ready to move to 180. It's bringing out a lot of beautiful stuff. Gonna go to 220. Slowing it down to 350 RPM. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Okay, I'm going to run it up to 320 next. Lovely. That just looks lovely at 320. I'm going to go ahead and go to 400. I might even go 6 and 8 just to see what it does because it seems to just get prettier with each passing grit. I'm going to switch over to the 400 grit traditional sandpaper, and I do want to clean that off real quick. It's got a little goo in it. So what I like to do is just blow it out with a compressor. And it's ready to go. So get the dust collector back on. And I like to slow it down a teeny bit each grit. So now I'm down about 280 RPM. Wow, that is so smooth and pretty. Very natural, organic, and all of that spalting is just gorgeous. I think I'm going to go ahead and go to a 600 grit. I have some here. Came in a big kit. I don't use it very often, so might as well take advantage of a interesting piece of wood here. And I think I'll also go ahead and grab an 800. So I have an 800 and a 600. So we'll start with the 600 and see if it takes us up a notch or not. Really, really pretty. I'm hoping you guys are seeing this in the video. It's hard sometimes to get a great picture. And the dust gets finer on it. Keep that dust collector on. I really can't feel a difference after getting to 600, but we already have the 800 out, so let's go ahead and hit a little quick edge with the 800. I'm going to drop the speed down again, just about 15-20 RPM per grit. I've been experimenting with this, and it seems to give me a much nicer finish. Okay, that's pretty lovely. That's pretty lovely. Let's blow out the grain here. See, as we blew out that color just popped everywhere. Wish you could feel this. Wow, that is just smooth and beautiful. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with my traditional shop grit and go ahead and polish this up and just see how it looks. We do have this knot hole here, so I got to be careful not to catch my towel or fill that with goo. And then when we get into it, we got a solid 1/2 inch of material here, maybe even 5/8. And I want to bring this down to I think about 1/4 of an inch. We'll see how it turns on the inside, but out here, that's about as pretty as it gets. So I'm going to grab a fresh shop towel, and all I'm going to use today is just a blue shop towel on this one. And a little grit. We're down to the end of our grit here. I'm going to have to go in and make some more. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see how I make the grit. I know there's people to do it, but I can kind of show you my recipe and process if you're interested. But also, we're going to go in forward. I'm going to bring the speed up to about 600 RPM just to apply it. And then we will really work it in once we get enough of it on there. We'll bring up the speed. See if that covered everywhere, if we got any spots we're missing. Looks like it's getting on there everywhere. That really brings the color out, doesn't it? Now, let's actually sand. We'll sand out those 800 grit scratches, moving the speed up to 1000 RPM. Still using the clean portion of the towel. You can see it in the light as the grit comes off and the fine scratches. See all that just comes out of the grain there. So a little more pressure this time. Just work it around the edge. Get to that notch. You can hear it banging against my hand there. And we almost are coming off clean. So all the way around to the edge. Yeah, that is pretty. That's pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and just put on, actually maybe I'll take this to the buffing with some white diamond when we're done. But let's go ahead and put on some of our standard shop shine. Actually, I am going to use shine from Gonzo today. I've had some really good luck with it. I just got to get it out of the right drawer here. So I don't know if you guys follow Mr. Lathes and Knives, Gonz the woodturner. He's got a new wax out. It's harder than my wax, and it seems to leave a nice durable shine, and I could still use my other waxes on there to complement it or maintain it. So I get a pretty liberal amount, about like that much. Keeping the speed up right around 1000 for the first application. And I just kind of gently go across the front, just the face of the bowl, lightly just applying the wax. And then I usually turn it off, take a look and see if I have anything. Oh, look at that. Pops right away. If there's any places here that need a little extra, if there's a dry spot or something, I don't see anything. I love this lacy pattern in there. This might be normal oak. I'm just, like I said, up here I don't see it very often. Just seeing if there's any of these spots that are drier that are soaking up a little bit more of it. There's a lot of mineral oil in this one, I think. All right. Get to there. Now I'm just going to bring it up to about 1500 RPM. The same shop towel. We're just going to kind of polish it in with the shop towel. You can see it just there on the bottom. Over here I can actually watch the reflection improve I could probably read in that the shine as it's spinning this fast. It's really looks mirror-like without having that artificial plasticky shine you get from a lot of the other materials. So check that out. What do you think? I like that. I don't think I'll even bother taking it to the buffing wheel. I think that is lovely. Feels organic, but still shine and glassy smooth. So I think we're ready to flip it around and do the inside. The project's going a lot faster than I was expecting. This was a real pleasure to turn. So all we have to do is remove Mr. Jam Chuck here and replace it with Mr. Bull. And this is nice and light, super dry, so we will be using the Jam Chuck again to remove the foot later. But I also want to pull out the vaccinator here so I don't smack an elbow at when I'm not paying attention. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but I did it once, and then right after, I think I've said this before, right after I did that and was suffering the consequences, I was watching Kurt DeHeer video. One of my all-time favorite human beings and turners, his son Gary, but just awesome people. But he called it the vaccinator. He goes, you got to pull that up, man. You don't want to get vaccinated accidentally. And well, I had just done it. So now every time I'm pulling it out, I'm like, I got to remember to pull out the vaccinator or I'll be paying a price later. So I'm going to use traditional bowl gouge on the sides, scoop down, then I'll move over to the bottom feeder, Glen Lucas, to just try to finish out the bottom there. I feel pretty good about that. Get the speed back down. Actually start at 0 and pull it up. I don't want to go any faster than 1,000 with the bowl open and dry wood. Good chance that if I got a little catch on that knot hole in there or something, it could go flying. So again, just traditional 55-degree Irish grind, long bevel. Got plenty of room to get around the edge here. We'll just start out simple, slow cuts until we get nice and round. Boy, that's dusty, but it cuts just perfect. Look at that. Got one little tool line in there from where I jerked my elbow when I was looking at the camera. That's my shame. I'm going to turn on the dust collector again. It's just too dusty. I don't want this to be breathing this stuff. Okay, I'm going to come way around the side now and try to thin it out. See what caught. Felt like I was in a good position. I just felt it catch on something, and there's no tear. Oh, might have just hit that little knot at an odd angle. Definitely a dusty wood. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have a big old catch or ugly tool line there. Nothing. I think that's a good thickness for this rim, looking proportionally. Could go a bit more if we wanted to. It's 1 centimeter, so it is 1 centimeter in the rest of our world. 3/8 of an inch, roughly. Let's call it 3/8. I'm going to shear scrape that inside with the outside wing of this before I get out the Glen Lucas. Flatten the rim again a little bit. I feel like it's just a little wobbly from one side to the other. Yep, there we go. See how that feels. Nice and smooth. No tool lines. Let's put these away and get out the bottom feeder. You've heard me talk a lot about this because it's been something I was reluctant to get, and I've been just thrilled to death with how well it takes the bottom. I'm a little high on my tool rest, and I can go in a little bit there. So this 60-degree bevel, just present it gently and start riding in it. Just cleans out bottoms lovely. Now, I've been able to use it both directions. And get rid of that little nub. Let's see how that looks. Okay, nice and flat. Got a little swoop, so now we just got to finish out the joining the two curves. And I swoop it around just like a regular bowl guide. across that middle there. I hate those little dimples in the bottom, so I want to make sure that's gone. Just a little bit more here on the sides. I might actually have to get a scraper out for that. I'm not seeming to get the angle in at this depth, but no, I can get that. I can get that. There you go, all gone. It's ready for sanding. Nope, I got a little teeny hump right here. I'm gonna go ahead and see. Still learning the big tool, the bottom feeder, so I'm gonna go back to what I'm comfortable with, right on center line. Just a little bit right here. I got a hump that I just want to see if it'll scrape out okay. My mask back down. That felt really nice. Okay, now there's no bump in there. So I'm going to go ahead and sand. And you've seen this process before already. I don't know if I'll go ahead and keep leaving it running, but we're going to go ahead and sand. Yeah, it looks nice. Boy, that's pretty good. And we're uniform thickness all the way to the bottom, so I got to be careful taking that tenon off so I don't end up with the world famous funnel. I generally leave my bottoms a teeny bit thicker. And let's see if boy, my dog is just having a heyday out there. I don't know what's going on. So Rapunzel, the shop dog, does not like large diesel trucks that whistle. And we have a neighbor who just did some sort of major turbo modification, and it has become her new nemesis. I think the only thing more than squirrels she hates are large, loud diesel trucks. So I'm going to go ahead and start out at 80 instead of 120 on this, just because it looks a little rougher on the inside than the outside, but feels good, but just looks different. So let's get that dust collector on. It's always hard in heavily figured and spalted wood to see if you're looking at a grain pattern or a tool line, so you don't want to over sand. You want to make sure you get out there and see what you're actually looking at. I don't see any tool lines. Got this big spalt line here that I thought was a tool line, and I don't want to sand out the spalt. I don't think you can sand out the spalt. All right, that's ready for 120. I'm just going to work up through the grits, and I will bring you back when we're ready to put on that finish. I don't know if there's anything valuable here. Again, like normal, I will continue to run the camera, and if something wacky happens, which happens with me sometimes, catch something, do something silly or stupid or something lucky, let's find out. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. Yes, I do. Now, I don't think anyone would ever use this for any kind of food because of the hole in the side, but if you were putting nuts in it or something, I think it'd be really pretty on a table with like some walnuts or something in there. So what I am going to do is use food safe finishes still. So I'll use my shop grit, followed by STM Woodturner's hard paste, and that should give us all we need for a finish on this one. I have already decided, like we said, I'm not gonna pick this as the buffing wheel. I think it looks amazing as it is, and that adding another level of shine I don't think will add value to this or make it any prettier than it already is. So I'm going to stick with just the hand doing it here on the lathe. Again, I just worked the grit in. I haven't actually taken it off yet, so that gives you an idea what the colors are going to be. Now we'll speed it back up. I was at about 400 RPM they're applying it. And I'm going to bring it up to just about 1,000 RPM. Right there. We're at 1,028. And just starting in the center and working my way out. Again, never wrap the towel around any part of your body, your fingers, your hands, your thumbs, your whatevers, because if it gets caught, it'll take that thing with you. Right now, it'll just pull it out of my hand. So I've seen some ugly dislocations happen from people wrapping a towel around. I've never seen a finger pulled off or anything, thank God. I don't know if I could my constitution would take that. But I have seen a really bad dislocation. Someone had wrapped a towel around their index finger, got caught in it, dislocated it really bad. And highly recommend you not do that. But again, you do you. That's how I do it. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. That is something. All right, I'm going to set up to flip the tenon around. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my jam chuck back in. Same shop towel we were just using to take care of our polishing and grit. Lock her back on, couple light turns. I already saw the wood flex a bit, so we know our bottom's the same thickness as this. That's still not a lot of meat, to be honest. So I'm going to take some light passes with a 1/2-inch bull gouge until we peel that away. Then I'll polish it on site here, try to sand it as much down to the nub, and then we'll pull the nub off and finish her up. So again, nice sharp edge. Oh, it's just vibrating all over the place. Oh, that's because I was at 1800 RPM. That's why. That's supposed to turn things at 1800 RPM. That's polishing speeds. All right, we're back down to 1200 RPM. I was just showing you the grind here. It's just a 55-degree Irish grind on my Hurricane by Crown. It's a Sheffield Cairo. What do they call it? Cairo M42. I just love this steel in this gouge. But let's take some light passes here. We don't do anything crazy. You can see I'm debating whether or not to leave a little shadow foot here or go all the way around. So I think what I'm going to do, I have enough material here. I'm going to leave a very teeny ring on the bottom just to lift it off the table a little bit. Obviously, it wouldn't be great for putting heavy stuff in if it's the weight's distributed funny, but a nice little rim on the bottom that's polished, little round bead. That's what I'm going to do. Doesn't have to be extreme and tall, so I'll pull that down a bit. Okay. Roll this bead over a little bit, just a bull gouge. Little pointy gouge here, just coming around the edge here. Roll it over. And I can get out spittle gouge, a little crown, 1/2-inch gouge, and gently peel away the top here. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and take the rest of that center mass away. A lot of bouncing, but we have a nice little foot there. Now, do we like that? Proportionally, I'm trying to decide if proportionally I like that or not. I think I do. I think it'll sand up nicely. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sand that up by hand. Turn the dust collector back on here. There we go. Got a really nice little bead there on the bottom for the foot. So I'll pull this off the lathe and I'll hand sand off this little bottom part here. I think you can see that. Yeah. So I'll just hand sand that off with the 2-inch thing on the drill, clean that up, sign it, and it'll sit with a nice little shadow line, bringing it just off the table. Very light bulb. There's almost no weight to it at all. So let's take care of that and I'll bring you back when we're done. Well, there it is, all finished up. Beautiful spalted oak. It might even be spalted oak burl. Twice turn bowl. Blank was provided by STM Woodworking in Georgia. It's got a cool little knot hole on the side where a branch came out. Just a lovely shape. Beautiful grain. And I finished it with Gons the Woodturners hard wax. And it really turned out great. I'm not affiliated or anything. Just a guy I know who I really like his product and thought I'd share it with you. If you get a chance to check it out, you should. And in the meantime, man, I appreciate you joining me. If you like this video and this style, please leave me a comment. Likes and subscriptions really help me out. And of course, if you know somebody who want to see this one, share it with them. It does help. Appreciate you guys. Hope you had a great time. Now get out there and turn something.